There's a tweet that I can genuinely not stop thinking about. Someone announced that Boma, you know that Burmese restaurant with that amazing khao sui, they raised 38 crore rupees at a 500 cr valuation. Amazing. But then someone replied to that dead serious. We must protect Boma from PE at all costs. In that moment, I laughed and then I just stopped laughing because she actually might have a point. If you think about it, is private equity taking over everything? I'm talking about your hospital, your kids' school, your IPL team, even your Sunday cheat meal brownie. इसमें से कुछ बचा है जो private equity ने touch नहीं किया हो. So let me explain why everyone hates private equity so much. Hi, I'm Arunima and this is How Bizarre. So let's begin. Let's start where it actually matters. Hospitals. I want you to look at this list and just let it sink in for a second. This has major hospital chains and the private equity firm having stake in them, along with how much they own. Some of these are listed players. For Manipal, Temasek is in. Care Hospitals, Blackstone. KIMS Kerala, Blackstone again. Sayadri was fully PE owned. Baby Memorial in Kerala, that's KKR. HCG, the cancer chain, KKR. Max, KKR was in and then exited. Motherhood, the maternity chain, TPG. Even Apollo Hospitals, the OG Indian private hospitals, has a global PE firm sitting on its cap table. We're talking about an $80 billion healthcare market. And practically every big private hospital name that you can think of has at some point in time taken some private equity money. And I get why too. I mean, hospitals get capital to build more beds. Professional management is there instead of there just being one overworked founder doctor who's running the entire show just based on gut feeling. They have the global best practices. There's even a short to scale to tier 2 cities where, let's be real, there's a real shortage of hospital beds. So if money is pouring in to fix that problem, अच्छी बात है ना, right? I thought that too until I came across this study. This is a study that basically ruined my morning. This is from the American Thoracic Society conference. It was released this year itself. Researchers looked at two of the most common reasons people get admitted with lung problems: pneumonia and COPD. COPD is basically long-term lung damage, like heavy smokers or exposure to bad quality city air for years. The study had a huge sample, roughly 147,000 COPD patients and 195,000 pneumonia admissions. And the researchers actually did a smart thing. They matched PE-owned hospitals against similar hospitals that weren't PE-owned. Then they compared what actually happened to patients. Here's what they found. Pneumonia patients were more likely to die during their hospital stay if that hospital had been bought by a private equity firm. And COPD patients were more likely to come back to the hospital within 30 days. Now, the gap was about 1 percentage point. And I know, you're probably already thinking, so what is just 1 percentage point? Itta kya big deal hai? The lead author also flagged exactly that. He said normally only 3 to 4 out of 100 pneumonia patients die in a hospital. So adding a full percentage point on top of that isn't small. It's actually a serious jump. And his explanation was super blunt. Private equity is wired to make its money fast. They're wired to just buy, extract maximum juice or profit and exit in 3 to 5 years. That's the timeline. And that clock doesn't always align in the same direction as keep these patients alive. One honest call out though, this study is from the US and not from India. It's also conference stage research, so I'm not here telling you that your local PE hospital is dangerous. What I'm basically telling you is the exact incentive structure that produced the US result is now running a big chunk of Indian healthcare too. And it doesn't just stop at healthcare. Before we carry on with the rest of the episode, I just wanted to come here and say that a lot of people come to me with queries around how to be an effective communicator, how to speak confidently on stage or in front of a camera, and what to do when things go wrong. So for this, I have built a course along with upskills.club on how to be an effective communicator. And in this, there is no theory, only practical knowledge drawn from my own lived experience. I'll be covering a range of topics, things like in the first 30 seconds, what can you do that will make or break your presence? What are some body language mistakes that most people oversee? Or how to rehearse without sounding scripted. So yes, this is loaded with a lot of hands-on learning, lot of tips on how to sound natural in front of a camera. And if you want to be an effective communicator in 2026, then this is a course for you. Check it out, the link is in the description. Now, back to the episode. The same PA is actually walking into India's schools. For about 5 years, it had gone quiet on this because they were busy chasing edtech startups and वो party तो कब खत्म हो चुकी है. Now, names like Chris Capital, EQT, TPG, KKR, Partners Group, they're all back in talks with school chains. KKR's behind Lighthouse Learning, that's Euroschool, Billabong, and now even Pathways Gurgaon. Blackstone's into Jayashree Periwal in Jaipur. Kedara is behind Orchids. And once you see this, you can't unsee this. From a spreadsheet's point of view, a school is a beautiful business, like chef's kiss. Parents pay upfront at the start of the year. A kid, once admitted, stays for 10, 12, 13 years. That's over a decade of near guaranteed revenue. Recession aaye, salary ruk jaye, parents cut everything before they cut their child's school fees. And AI can't exactly disrupt a class 3 classroom. It's an anti-fragile cash machine. There's also a very clear little structure here. I'll keep it super simple. Legally, a school in India can't be run for profit. So it's run by a trust. But then, a separate company owned by the investors sells that trust its services. I'm talking about the buses, the IT, the management, the real estate. So the school stays non-profit on paper. The profit just sits in the company next door. It's the same move that was done in hospitals. Copy-paste kar diya bilkul. So, hospitals done, schools done. Surely cricket is safe from all this, right? Go back to 2008. When the IPL started, the team owners were basically a Bollywood and billionaires guest list. Think film stars, business tycoons. For them, these were trophy assets just bought for the glamour. Cut to now. This March, a group led by Blackstone bought Royal Challengers Bengaluru (RCB) for about $1.8 billion. There are actual reports that Temasek is actually shopping for a team right now. Even KKR wants an in. CVC already built Gujarat Titans back in 2021, then later sold 2/3 of that stake for a very fat profit. And the math is so obvious. The BCCI made about $724 million from the original team auction. Today, one estimate pegs the entire league at over $20 billion. So now you have 10 teams, each player has practically no salary cap, there's no relegation, stadiums are paid for by state governments. It's the closest thing to a nearly sure-shot money sports asset on the planet. Of course the big money wants it. Which brings me back to how this entire episode started. With F&B. Private equity hasn't even spared our brownies. Chris Capital bought 85% of Theobroma. This was a deal reported of more than 2,000 crore rupees. Theobroma was actually started by two sisters in one tiny Kolaba cafe way back in 2004. These brownies genuinely became a cult favorite. Now they have 250 plus stores across the country and most of these belong to private equity. Here's where I want to be fair though. It's easy to paint PE as a cartoon villain and big money just comes in, walks in, squeezes out the profit and leaves. But scary music को क्यों करना है? But that story is lazy and it's simplistic and इस channel पे वो नहीं चलता. Here you'll get nuance. So here's the uncomfortable truth. PE usually does not buy healthy companies. It buys the companies that are already bleeding. They're already anyway struggling. Those are bought cheap and PE's actual job is to walk in and do the hard, ugly things that the original owners just couldn't do. Either because they're too emotionally attached to it or just they're not good enough to run that company. Sometimes that means breaking the company into pieces and selling the bits to people who can actually run them. Sometimes it takes a form of layoffs, it takes a form of outsourcing, killing a product people were very sentimental about. And here's the hard part that nobody wants to hear. A company that's losing money is not secretly a gift to you, the customer, because it can't last. But when people say before private equity, this thing was cheaper and nicer, and it was also going bankrupt. Unsustainable means unsustainable. PE is often just that one person in the room who's willing to say that out loud. So a lot of the time, PE is genuinely just being the adult in the room. But and this is the whole point of this episode, it depends entirely on what's on the table. PE reshapes RCB, that's fine, it's cricket. PE tweaks Theobroma, Brownie thoda chota ho gaya hai ya fir thoda महंगा हो गया है. I'll probably just rant about it on X or put up an Instagram story. And then I'll probably just buy it anyway. These are both first world problems. But health and education are not brownies. When the thing being optimized is, did this pneumonia patient walk out of the hospital alive, or did this 7-year-old get actually taught properly? A 3 to 5-year-old profit clock is genuinely a horrible thing to think about in this context. We can't give the steering wheel to that clock. In those two sectors, we improved margins, outcomes just got slightly worse, is totally just not acceptable. So maybe the tweet had it a little bit wrong. It's not Burma we need to protect at all costs. It's the two things money should probably be the last thing deciding whether you get better or your kids get smarter or not. Okay, so now I'm gonna hand it to you. What do you think? PE in your dessert ठीक है, but PE in hospital absolutely not. या फिर आप कहते हो पैसा तो पैसा है, eventually it fixes everything because markets are efficient, right? Tell me in the comments. This is Arunima Rao signing off. See you in the next episode. Until then, stay curious.